Sweeney here, and welcome to the Friday Reload number 18. Some of our top headlines: Pigeon advice from top local SEOs, how I got 2.5 million views on SlideShare, and 19 ways growth hackers acquire customers, and more, of course. Now, if this is your first time joining us for a Friday Reload, we welcome you. We let you know what we aim to do with the reload is get you caught up on what you might have missed in the week. No one has time to follow 100 different blogs and newsletter and read all their emails. We're all busy. We got things to do. Hopefully, we're working on our business. What I do for you is I cut through the fluff and I summarize the best posts, news, videos, apps, software, all that great stuff of the week. This is for the week of September 5th. So, for our first story, how SEO is changed and going from organic to paid traffic. Now, Keith Baxter is very well known for SEO. He jumps on the Triggercast, episode 12, and gives us insights on how he got started in SEO, what used to work for him, and what's working now. He advocates strategies such as using paid traffic to help your rankings. He also talks about one of his biggest failures as an entrepreneur and why it happened. He actually opened up a sauce business, and coming from more of a digital product-based business, he struggled. He really struggled with this, physical product business, and he had all these different really good plans, but it's still at some point he had to kind of throw in the towel and admit that it was a failure. We also talk a bit about content marketing and how his new podcast has been going. Next up, we have Twitter, which has recently opened up its nifty analytics dashboard to everyone. So previously, the Twitter analytics dashboard was only open to advertisers and verified users. I remember in the past I had to add a credit card to my account, to my advertising account, in order to get analytics. Now everyone has access. Head on over to analytics.twitter to check it out. I do believe the only requirements are that you've had an account for at least 14 days. It's not restricted, protected, suspended, and it primarily tweets in English, French, Japanese, or Spanish. Now, one user, the insights were pretty interesting. He said, at a very basic level, I'm enjoying just looking at what is surfaced and letting that influence my thoughts about things. For instance, I just learned that 30% of Referral Candy followers also follow TechCrunch and Bill Gates. Would not have guessed that. That has some interesting implications for content marketing, for instance. Or, obviously, when it comes to targeting advertisements, guest blog posts, etc. Now, Twitter also recently changed its timeline algorithm, and we have a link to a post which kind of covers what you need to know about those changes. So if you're into Twitter, definitely check that out. That's on the main blog at digitaltriggers.io/Friday-reload-18. Next up, we have the good old Pigeon, who just won't go away. So on the blog, I have a picture here of the evil Pigeon. Now, if you work in local SEO, or hey, if you work in SEO at all, chances are you've been fielding a ton of questions from your clients, and you've been pretty on the ball with this whole Google Pigeon update. Now, if you need a little extra support providing sound advice in what's still the early days of this development that's caused both organic and local ranking shakeups, Moz provides your chance to learn what 6 of the finest local SEOs on the map are telling their own clients and readers about Pigeon. So I have excerpts from 3 of the experts, kind of reduced it a little bit in the natural Friday Reload spirit. So Mike Blumenthal says, one major change was a shifting of the calculations for distance around a search. Typically, but not always, Google reduced the search radius. If you are no longer included in the search radius, you have several choices, besides obviously opening another office. The one that makes the most sense is to learn what geographic areas you are showing in and emphasize those, and find the less competitive categorical searches where you can compete to get some visibility. Now, Mary Bowling says, 2 of the things that I like that she said is, make certain that you are in the directories that are ranking in or above the local packs for the terms you'd like to rank for. Regardless of your feelings towards Yelp, most businesses need to maintain accurate and complete listings there, preferably accompanied by good reviews. Number 2, to appear in the shrunken local packs, you must now rank in the top 3 positions, which are usually influenced by organic rankings. So keep working on your organic rankings via valuable, well-optimized content and incoming links from other good sites. Lastly, we have Andrew Shotland. Let me scroll down here, and he said, thus far, the big fix we are seeing to defeating spammy results in the local pack is to get links, which unfortunately is going to lead to a whole new wave of local link spam because it appears to be working for the moment. Now, they also have a 6-point pigeon proofing checklist for local businesses. It's pretty wordy though, so that is on the blog, and you can also find that in the article, but we're going to leave that out of the audio. Next up, 4 unconventional conversion lessons from a local mechanic. So kind of talking local SEO, I saw this post, thought it was pretty interesting, and I really like seeing local-based businesses that have their own fine-tuned systems. You know, just because you're a brick-and-mortar business, you're a physical business, and what have you, doesn't mean you can't have these fine-tuned marketing systems. So that's why I really like this post on these 4 unconventional conversion lessons. Now, the first one is trust is everything. Now, basically, he talks about how when he went to look for a car mechanic, he searched for reviews, bounced around, found one that had positive reviews, and unlike many other local mechanics, he had a website. Not just any website, but it was a website tailor-made to build trust. In the image above, you're greeted with a friendly yet experienced-looking face. It's an older gentleman, slightly balding, with a nice gray beard, smiling though. He does have like kind of a warm look to him. And he said it was the same face that greeted him when he arrived at the garage. The design is very simple, pleasing to the eye, and it has 80+ 5-star reviews, which is displayed prominently in the upper left-hand corner of the page. Number 2, he talks about how they made the entire process convenient for them. Number 3, this I thought was really cool. Superficial extras work. So the first extra that this person did for him or gave him was the representative's phone and office demeanor. He was genuine, he was engaging, and he was very likable the whole time. It made him feel that his value to Perry's, the automotive mechanic, as a customer had nothing to do with how much money I spent on their services. A few days after the work was finished, I received a card in the mail thanking me for selecting Perry's and inviting me to call with any future questions concerning car issues. So in the card is it's on the left hand, there's a business card. On the right hand, there's some writing in green, and then there's a signature in black. And it says Jacob. Jacob, thank you so much for choosing us to do the repairs on your Corolla. If you have any other concerns or you just have a question, please give us a call. I hope this note finds you well. Thank you very much. Signature. So, feeling positive about this. I mean, if I got a note from my car mechanic, I'd feel pretty jazzed up, especially if he did good work, right? He left a review online, and he received this email. Dear Jacob, thank you so much for writing a review to leave on our website. Your evaluation of our shop will help us to consistently provide 5-star service to all of our customers. And then last, he goes on to mention that the 4th technique is that your product or service must be excellent, which, you know, bit of a given. But I really like how the email aspect and that they sent out a handwritten note. We've talked about doing that before with software, so it's interesting to see a local business, you know, the kind of business you think should be doing this, do it. Next up, we have those pesky little Google authorship. So Google authorship, the rise and fall, and then we also have Google authorship may be dead, but author rank is not. So first, the rise and fall of Google authorship for search results. Google has completely dropped all authorship functionality from the search results and Webmaster Tools. John Mueller of Google Webmaster Tools announced in a Google Plus post that Google will stop showing authorship results in Google search and will no longer be tracking data from content using rel equals author markup. Now, Just when you hear that's done, we have the flip side of the coin. Google authorship may be dead, but author rank is not. So Google authorship and author rank aren't the same thing. Now here's why Google authorship can die, but yet author rank lives on. Now what is author rank? It's separately from Google authorship. It's the idea of author rank, which is where if Google knows who authored a story, it might somehow alter the rankings of that story, perhaps give it a boost if it is authored by someone who is deemed trustworthy. Now author rank isn't actually a Google term. It's a term that the SEO community has created and assigned to the concept in general. Now the reason why it got so much attention was when Google Executive Chairman Eric Schmidt talked about the idea of ranking verified authors higher in search results in his 2013 book, The New Digital Age. I will quote him directly here. Within search results, information tied to verified online profiles will be ranked higher than content without such verification, which will result in most users naturally clicking on the top verified results. The true cost of remaining anonymous then might be irrelevance. So here's the thing. Basically, we're almost talking about a thesis. So a thesis of a thesis, because Google obviously doesn't quite release their ranking algorithms anyways. We're all always just guessing and going by what we see. So before you freak out and you think, oh God, this is another thing I have to worry about and all these things I need to do, here's your simple action tip, and this comes from Mark Traphagen. He's the author of the previous article, and he posted this in the comments. He said, beyond using bylines, I would recommend providing every possible clue to give Google confidence about your identity. That's one reason why I think maintaining links from my web content to my G+ profile remains valuable. So throw Google a bone, still make it obvious who's writing this, kind of verify your authorness yourself, but don't worry about it too much. It can still help, but don't worry about it a huge amount. Next up, we have the top 8 Google Analytics reports for PPC. Now, this is a good post by 3 Digital focusing on breaking down Google Analytics into actionable and manageable data. They boil down the 8 essential Google Analytics reports for PPC professionals. Now, I'm going to tell you the 8 different reports, but head to the article to get a breakdown of why it matters, how to use it, and where to find it. Now, number 1 is time lag. Number 2 is organic keyword report. Number 3 is landing pages. Number 4 is devices, the organic segment. Number 5 is display targeting. Number 6 is keyword positions. Number 7 is assisted conversions. And number 8 is product performance. Next up, we have how I got 2.5 million views on SlideShare. Now, this is not me, but this is done by Nick Demi. And this is a slide deck, naturally. It's a lot of good, really good content marketing tips here. And while they are kind of tailored toward slide decks and tailored toward SlideShare, I think they definitely can apply to any kind of content creation and content promotion. Now, a quick breakdown of what's actually in the presentation. Practical tips to create decks for SlideShare. Find and create remarkable content. Experiment with call to actions. Make slides that can be shared, and extra tools that he uses. Now, I breezed through this a little bit, and I can definitely say it is good. I mean, the guy got 2.5 million views on SlideShare. He obviously knows what he's talking about. Now, related to this, there is a post, I think it's a SlideShare as well, and it's by Todd Wheatland. And this is an extra 20% of effort can have a 10 times effect. Now, like every social platform, SlideShare is unique. Put the time in to understand this uniqueness in more depth in the early days. By understanding the nuances of the platform and the behavior and interests of the audience that are there, everything changes. The quality of your content, it's relevant to the audience, and the impact to your business. Now, I gotta say, I'm interested to see when SlideShare Pro is finally going to come along. I know there's a few members. I think QuickSprout, for example, is a member of SlideShare Pro. Would really like to be a part of it, but it's not out there. I think they've been kind of retooling it and figuring out how they best want to serve their premium customers. But SlideShare is definitely one of the silent giants of content promotion and really just driving traffic. So, next up we have a book. Yes, a book. Now, if you haven't heard, an awesome book titled Traction, A Startup Guide to Getting Customers, was recently released. Now, this was written by Justin Mars and Gabriel Weinberg, I believe is how you say his name, and one of them is, I believe he's CEO and founder of DuckDuckGo, which is actually a search engine that is quickly rising in the ranks. Outside of Bing, Yahoo, and Google, it's probably the fourth search engine that I actually know. Now, Kevin DeWalt did a very good job of summarizing the book, and this is what he said. Traction belongs on every startup founder's bookshelf. I'm buying copies for the CEOs of my current angel investments. Traction is one of those books that make you wonder, why didn't anyone write this before? Gabrielle and Justin have done a marvelous job outlining a strategy for solving the #1 challenge facing every, I want to emphasize that, new business today. How to get traction. What Nabil Ravikant of AngelList defines as quantitative evidence of demand. The book begins by explaining why getting early customers is so critical for startups today and outlining a high-level strategy for doing it. They recommend considering a lot of different options, systematically testing them out, and then focusing like hell on the 1 or 2 that are working. The meat of the book, and the reason it belongs on your bookshelf, is the 19 chapters dedicated to each one of the traction channels. So, the point I wanted to make there is that if you're listening to this podcast, I would guess most of you probably aren't in startups. You're probably either doing some sort of digital marketing online, you have your own website, or maybe you're doing marketing for clients. I still think this book is a valuable book and something worth checking out. Now, they also created a slide deck on those 19 channels for growth, and I'm going to tell you those 19 traction channels because I'm sure you want to know. Let me take a sip of my water here before I jump into these 19. And I lied, I had some Gatorade. So, the 19 traction channels. #1, viral marketing. #2, unconventional PR. #3, social and display ads. #4, offline ads. #5, content marketing. #6, email marketing. #7, engineering as marketing. #8, targeting blogs. #9, business development. #10, sales. #11, affiliate programs. #12, existing platforms. #13, trade shows. #14, offline events. #15, speaking engagements. #16, community building. And for some reason, I seem to have, I got a few of them that got cut off. So we also have PR, we also have search engine marketing, and then we also have SEO. For some reason, those 3 at the top got cut off. So those are your 19 traction channels. You can check out that slide deck where it explains each of the traction channel and kind of gives a little bit more information on them. For example, companies that are currently using that. But honestly, the book is, I think it's like $10 on Amazon. Let me jump over here. I think it was like $10.81 the last time I checked. Yep, $10.89. And then the Kindle edition is also $10. So hey, maybe you want Kindle, maybe you want hardcover. I don't know about you, but I like hardcover. Check it out. I recommend you pick it up. There's no better skill you can learn than getting more customers. Next up, it is tool time. So time to put the books down and bust out the apps and tools. I'm very excited to show you this first one, and this first one is called Small PDF. Man, I really wish I knew about this one about 2 weeks ago. I was cutting the lead magnets and content upgrades around, and creating different things and with PDFs, and it is such a pain. Yeah, if you deal with PDFs at all, whether you create your own lead magnets or guides, I mean, basically almost anyone in digital marketing I feel like has created or dealt with a PDF at one point in their life. this is an extremely handy tool. Now, what they aim to do is they say we make PDF easy, love it, and you will too. So, small PDF has a host of features which you can see. Makes your life a lot easier. For example, compress PDF, JPEG to PDF, PDF to JPEG, merge PDF, so it can combine several PDF files into one single file, split PDF, Word to PDF, convert your Word documents to PDF, Excel to PDF, PowerPoint to PDF, and unlock PDFs. It's a simple tool. It's free. It does almost all the basic level PDF things you could need. Awesome. Very awesome. Next up, we have another tool. This is Terms Feed. So keeping it simple. Terms Feed helps you generate privacy policies, terms and conditions, terms of service, terms of use, and return and refund policies. It's simple. You can create legal agreements in minutes. They do have some sort of pricing structure, which I haven't dug too deep into. But there's also Ubenda, IUBENDA, which can also generate privacy policies in seconds. So you can check that out. That's in the related right under it. So if you need a privacy policy, I remember I had to create one, and by create one I mean recreate one for our site. And we had a buddy of ours who was like, "Hey, just check out mine. You know, I got it created, got it ran by lawyers. Just swap out the names and all that." And still kind of a pain. So anything that makes that easier, hey, I'll take it. That's that kind of grind work that no one likes doing, but you got to do when you're setting something up. Next up, we have Share as Image. So they tout it as the fastest way to double your social engagement by creating micro content, adding text and your logo to any image. Now, if you know the web, you know that images are dominating the web. And this seems like an easy solution to quickly create more of them for your business. Now, customers include Wall Street Journal, AppSumo, and Scribd. Currently, it is $8 a month, but you can kind of test it out for free. Also, in the related section under it, there's an app called Chisel, which is a little bit less polished, it appears, but you can write thoughts on photos as well, and it's free. So Share as Image, it comes in a bookmarklet and a Chrome extension. And what I really like is you can basically grab an image from anywhere and then throw on, you know, some words and throw on your logo. So that part's pretty cool. Next up, we have an interesting one. This one's called Monitor Book. And what it allows you to do is easily track anything on the web. So you might be wondering, so what can I track? Well, that's the thing. They're still very new, and they've actually, I've read some of the comments by the founders, and they're not really looking to kind of pigeonhole themselves. They really do want to just kind of have people figure out what they can track. Now, that being said, it allows you to easily track anything on the web, and you become notified when it changes. Some of the example use cases currently are track reviews or competitor reviews, track prices, track competitors in general, and track headlines of websites. Next up, we have the 3 most important e-commerce benchmarks and how you can crush them. Now, I really like this one. This comes Janessa Lance from RJ Metrics posts on BigCommerce for this one, covering these 3 most critical e-commerce benchmarks and high-level tactics on improving them. Now, they are as follows. Number 1, average order value. Number 2, revenue from repeat purchases. And number 3, customer lifetime value. Now, she says, at RJ Metrics, we are nerd evangelists for data. We want everyone to learn how to use it and love it. So we crunch the data from hundreds of our clients to see what we could learn about the state of e-commerce in 2014. Here's what we discovered about average order size, customer lifetime value, and other e-commerce benchmarks you always wanted to know but never knew who to ask. Now, I think this is pretty interesting. I mean, obviously, with digital products versus e-commerce, e-commerce, there's normally a lot more products. If you're using something, you need to replace it, replenish it, which isn't necessarily the same with digital products. You know, if I put out a product, you get it once, and You don't need to change it unless I come out with like a version 2, right? So I don't know how much of this directly applies to that, but I still think some of the principles are quite interesting, especially, average order value, revenue from repeat purchases, and customer lifetime value. So number 1, top customers spend 5 times more per order. On average, 90% of e-commerce customers spend $54 per order. The top 10% are spending $163 per order, 3 times more per order than 90% of customers. When they zoomed even more, they found the top 1% spend an average of $267, which is 5 times more the average order value of most of your customer base. So they talk about using reviews to increase your average order value. eBay and Amazon were pioneers in user-generated content and among the first e-commerce retailers to implement comments and user reviews. Today, customer reviews create a 74% increase in product conversion. Customer reviews convert and they decrease return rates, so get them. Number 2, top customers make 4 times more purchases. So the typical online store gets 43% of its revenue from repeat customers. Companies that have mastered repeat purchases are getting up to 75% of their revenue from repeat customers. If you tend to focus on customer acquisition, now's the time to pay attention on how you can grow your revenue by looking at your existing customer base. Now they do say don't be afraid to break the discount cycle. There's a tendency in e-commerce to solve problems with discounts rather than data. When it comes to driving repeat purchases, your data can help you figure out things like how soon after a purchase you should reach out to a customer or how often you should be emailing your various customer segments. Number 3, top customers spend 30 times more than the average customer. So customer lifetime value is the single most important metric for your e-commerce store. If you're not already familiar with this metric, get up to speed on how to calculate customer lifetime value now. Here's why it's so important. The top 1% of e-commerce customers spends 30 times more than the average customer. The lifetime value of these customers isn't just a little bit better, it's dramatically better. So treat your best customers like VIPs. Every month, pull a list of your top 1% of customers and do something special for them. Write a note, send a gift, invite them to a special event. You can do this more often or at scale even better. Try showing some love to your big spenders and just see what happens. This is the year to really dig in. Find the most loyal customers, get the most reviews, the most repeat purchases, and the best possible returns. And they say nerd out with your data and so more. Now next up, switching it up. YouTube. So why do in-stream ads with lesser quality video get better numbers? So videopower.org ran a few split tests for his YouTube ads, and he found that his low-quality ad shot from his iPhone had a click-through rate of about 3% and a conversion rate of 14% for a cost per action cost of 98 cents. Now his high-quality green screen shot video got a click-through rate of 2%, a conversion rate of 3.6%, and a cost per acquisition cost of $1.84. So not very good, right? So why did it do better? Well, it actually didn't. The video ad shot with the iPhone had a higher conversion rate and lower CPA, but the conversion and leads that came from the higher production video ad were almost 2 times more likely to purchase later on. So I think this is a good lesson in be careful of what you attract. You can use some of these oddball tactics and cheap tricks to get eyeballs, to get customers, to get clicks. But what are you really getting? What kind of quality of customer are you getting? And are you really getting the right person? Now, lastly, before the honorable mentions, we have Sunday reading. So this is kind of a new segment. And I'm going to kind of feature deeper marketing and business articles, so more kind of journalistic type articles. Think more Wall Street Journal and more The Verge, and less TechCrunch, less Mashable. And less on the case study angle and the how-to angle, and more on good writing. So this week we feature a story on how Uber plans to sabotage Lyft. The Title is, "This is Uber's Playbook for Sabotaging Lyft." Now, the high-profile battle of these $2 billion companies has been documented before, but The Verge goes a bit deeper. They detail Uber's plan as brand ambassadors with burner phones and credit cards attempt to shave the stash. So basically, Uber is doing some really sneaky stuff to try to take down Lyft, or at least, kind of hinder it, which is interesting because Uber currently seems to be in the driver's seat. That was a horrible pun that was really unintended. So why are they, pandering to these smaller tactics? Who knows? But it's quite an interesting read. Pretty interesting. Definitely good Sunday reading. Now, we do have some good honorable mentions this week. So we have how to boost conversions by 529%. I'm sorry, 529% in 45 minutes. So this discusses content upgrades, which we've mentioned before. If you haven't heard about content upgrades, you should definitely check it out. Next, we have why your content marketing team needs a link builder. Then we have how to create Facebook website custom audiences for multiple websites. Next, we have the lead boxes roundup, so their top 10 favorite lead boxes in August. You might want to go there and check out number 9. I think you'll like it. And lastly, we'll have learn more about your customers with the new Pinterest analytics. So that is our Friday reload for the week. I hope you liked it. Depending on how you do your vacation, should have been a short week. So I hope you crush Friday, enjoy your weekend, and let's get back and really get into it next week. Let's have a really good week next week. I don't know about you guys, but I'm planning on crushing it next week. So thanks for listening, everybody. Feel free to check out the blog to grab the links, digitaltriggers.io/Friday-reload-18. Check us out. We'd love to have you, and thanks for listening.